Alright, so this is the sound of the new AC unit that I purchased from Walmart this time. Midea. And then, where's the model specifically? I think it's on this side? Yeah, okay. So so that's the model specifically. If it can't really be seen because of the lighting, I'll just write it down somewhere in the description. And yeah, it still has a, it's still pretty loud, but not as loud, I don't think. It's probably maybe several decibels. I'm not sure. I don't know how to measure decibels. And I forget what this one lists the decibel count for, but just being able to compare and contrast from the last unit. Now if I switch this to fan mode, is it on fan? There we go. So now it's on fan mode. So without the compressor noise, I think that's the compressor anyway. This is the sort of power of the fan mode itself. So still pretty relaxing. I don't mind this fan noise. I actually fall asleep to it. It's more the compressor noise that can be a bit irritable sometimes, but it doesn't sound as powerful as the last one. So, of course, these portable AC units are going to have some noise to them. It just depends on the severity of the noise as well as the pitch. For me anyway, I don't like high-pitched sounds. I'd much rather deal with low-frequency noise, like waterfalls and ocean waves and that sort of thing. So, this is how I sound. I've been talking at the same level ever since I had the unit on, so you can just do a comparison against the power of my voice over the power of the compressor, the fan, and then of course without the unit being turned on. So this is the same day I'm purchasing it, April 7th, or whenever I decide to upload this, but it's April 7th right now. And yeah, pretty standard. There was a bit of a funky smell. I almost want to say it smelled like a fish market, but not like you're in the fish market. Like, let's say you go to a grocery store like Ralph's or something, and you're in the deli department and then you're heading toward the fish section and you start getting a whiff of the fish. That's kind of how this unit smelled. So it wasn't too strong, but I do have sensitive smelling. Like, my family calls me a dog. I could smell gas leaks, really. So, up to you how sensitive your smelling is. But I kind of just put it on fan mode. I just put it on the cool mode for a few minutes just to ensure that the compressor was functional. And then I had it on fan mode for 50 minutes, like straight after I got it out of the box. So it's really only been no more than an hour since I've unboxed this today. And it didn't seem to have any damage in the delivery when the associate brought it to my car, because they had it in store at Walmart, so I just did a curbside pickup. And it seems fine, again, the noise being right next to my bed, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll move it a bit more over here, not like it matters. I mean, a few inches away isn't going to make a big difference, but it seems fine. The drain hose this time is still at the top, so I believe this would be the main one. I'm not sure. I haven't seen any water come out of it yet, but again, I've only been using the compressor for a few minutes when I got it out of the box, and then a few minutes just now, and it's been on fan mode for the last 50 or so minutes, just to kind of maybe air out the coils. Obviously it's brand new, so I expect there to be some sort of, new AC unit smell, what have you, kind of like a new car smell. Although I like new car smells, a new car smell is pleasant to me, but a slight smell of fish, not so much. But yeah, it seems fine, it seems good. Main air filter up here comes off pretty easily. You just make sure that when you snap it back on, it snaps in place, and then it's similar to the last one where, you have these latches here. And there is still a bit of a leak. Like when I was putting my hand here while I had it doing a sound test earlier, I did feel like there was still some hot air leaking out, so I may have to put weather stripping around that. And I should have bought an insulating wrap for this thing, but I don't know, we'll see. It's less powerful, this is designed for a pretty small room, but my room is tiny, so it should be fine for me. That's just the lower drain. I don't know, the manual doesn't really say when to use this, so I'm not sure if water just comes down here naturally, or if this is the main drain. I mean, I'll figure it out later on when I'm using the cool mode a lot more frequently, of course. So I'm not sure how much it drains. I just kind of wanted to do this like fresh out of the box, and then maybe I'll just post updates. I'm hoping this works because let me tell you, having to swap portable AC units on the second floor with this unconventional setup I have to do, it's a bit of a bother. It's not very convenient, and then they're pretty heavy, like even this one. Fortunately, it comes with handles, but it's still pretty, it has a good weight to it. Not as heavy as the last one, but you know, it's heavy enough. But yeah, so far so good. It's still functional. For a small room, I can see it keeping it cool. And if there's any issues, I'll just update that as well. Oh my gosh, I don't want to get yet another unit. I'm so sick and tired of trying to find the perfect unit. My old original JHS unit was perfectly fine until the movers messed it up. But anyway, I mean, I'm kind of going ahead of myself. I'm kind of in a negative mindset right now of everything going badly in my life, but it does drain down here. So it drains from both. It was draining from here. I had this on for maybe 2 hours straight, and it wasn't turning off, but I think that's because I activated the cool mode from the control panel rather than coming here to the controller and changing it to the auto mode as you see there, I think. Yes, auto mode, okay. So you'll have more options when you control the unit from the controller, so just bear that in mind. You only really have the 3 options here, and then this continuous fan mode, which I'm not really sure. I kind of skipped that in the manual. But anyway, so it does drain from here. So I'm just going to have it how I had the other one, my original one. I had it on the same, like this is my keyboard, the chair for it. Yeah. So it's 17 inches across and 12, maybe 13 inches in depth. So fortunately, this unit isn't too big. It's not too bulky, and it's able to fit on this. So that serves my purposes for my, you know, again, unorthodox setup. I did put some Scotch blue tape on the wall here to prevent airflow coming back in, because if I try to use the shutters, I'm not going to have privacy, and then the sun will wake me up at 6 a.m. in the morning, which, no, I don't think so. Not right now. So, you know, rather than having to disconnect this, which by the way, there is a leak like in this corner for me, and I should probably get an insulating cover for this. You would think they'd make this more heat resistant, but, you know, brains. So I'm just elevating it here so that I can easily tip it backwards in case I do need to drain it from the bottom, because I was starting to get like a mildewy smell again. So I'm like, oh, not again. Even though it was draining properly from here. So you may have to drain the bottom on a daily basis, or at least until you start smelling something funky. And I only smelled it when it switched to fan mode. But it was brief. It didn't last as long as the previous unit. You know, the big bulky one from my previous video. The Toshiba one, that one just, regardless of whether it was draining properly or not, it just from day one had the mildew smell. But that one had some damage, I think, in the delivery process. So this is the setup. I have a towel, I have a bowl. This should drain into the bowl normally, and if it kind of goes out of bounds, there's a towel there. And then rather than lugging this out of my room every time, I'll just disconnect the exhaust hose and then just tip it back with the help of it being elevated this way. You know, it's pretty easy for me to tip it back when it's elevated this way, and then it will drain into there. So we'll see. It seems like it's going to be more high maintenance than my previous two, but at the end of the day, I just want something that works, doesn't shriek like a banshee, and that's just going to keep me cool. Because, my goodness, I'm like the human heater.